This is Progress Culture. Progress Culture is a weekly happening where master drummer Paul F. Murphy and I share live improvised music and impromptu conversations with people from various fields and expertises about community, value, art, science, freedom, and progress for all. We are excited to share it all with you, so have a listen and see what's going on this week on Progress Culture. Now, let's get into the show. But first, let's hear some music. Hello everybody, and welcome to TomBro Studios, or TomBro Studios, Tom Brook, what is it?
Tom Brook.
This is the new home of Progress Culture, and we are clearly in transition here, but it's very exciting. So
We're progressing.
We're progressing down the road.
Indeed we are. So I forget there was a recent episode where I was griping about always giving the same intro. So as I didn't plan to change it, I forgot to introduce anybody. So I am Dominic Fragman, and this is Paul Murphy, and we are of Sonic Spirits with poet Jere Carroll, and this is the man, Tommy Luganville.
Of TomBro Studios.
TomBro.
How are you guys?
Yeah, man, great.
Good.
Yeah, excellent.
It sounds good in here, too.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, the acoustics are pretty good.
I'm looking forward to see. There's actually, at some point or another, in the next couple of episodes, there'll be, I guess there'll be more than just 2x4s on the wall here.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny that, Paul, you just said that. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I kind of like this. However, I believe there will be walls next time.
If only because we will be getting new sponsors.
Yes.
And they might like it if stuff was on the wall.
That's true. We don't have any banners today. We did bring some of our old artwork and I don't know, accoutrement. Is that the right word? Accoutrement from the original studio. But yeah, we're gonna have walls. And
I am severely monolingual.
I have no idea.
Accoutrement sounds like
Accoutrement.
it's not a. I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It sounds like you're pronouncing it right.
We're going to have walls. We're going to have a ceiling. Maybe even a floor. I don't know.
A floor?
We'll see.
I'm okay with whatever happens from here.
But the good news is
man.
the good news is on it. I mean this sincerely. The music 100% resonated much better.
Yeah.
Which I know is important.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Especially when you
Yes.
bring people in and you bring them on the show, especially for the first time. It's a bit of a hypnotism.
Yeah.
I think anyway. I mean, I don't know because I'm not the person on the other side. I guess I'm biased, but
I mean, if it's the first time someone's heard it, I'm sure they're almost kind of in a shock,
yeah.
right? And it probably throws them off kilter a little bit. But then for other people that have heard it a lot, probably is more of a hypnosis type of situation.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've heard from people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
idea.
man.
Hypnotize people and then get them to talk about stuff that they wouldn't maybe normally talk about.
Well, it's funny. It's like if you guys end on a I don't even know if it's called a song. I don't know. You do your set, and if you do like a very high energy one,
Yeah.
I know that if I'm talking on the show, I usually start out and I'm just like jacked.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
But if you do a more kind of subtle one where Paul ends with like a then I'm a little more calm when I come to speak.
Well, that's good to know. I guess I could try to use that to our advantage.
Do what you will.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised we haven't heard any hammering and all the other sorts that are going on around here.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction going on because this is not only a studio, it's actually where I will be living. So there's a lot of people building things above us and actually outside of us as well. But I think they heard the music and I think you hypnotized them.
Perfect.
So they just stopped making noise. Yeah.
Tell you.
But I can't promise that. You might hear a loud bang in the middle of this show.
It's totally acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was even thinking.
But so right now we're no longer in Southern Maryland.
Sorry. Go ahead,
Correct.
Dominic.
No, not Dominic.
Yeah.
This.
Go for
you
it.
guys are just as much the.
All right.
mouthpiece as I am.
We're sitting in Rockville, Maryland. I don't have shoes on. I decided to go with this today.
All right.
Like Dominic.
I got my first pedicure the other day.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Well, my socks are still on, which is why I didn't have a pedicure. But no, we are in Rockville. I was with someone that's visiting the show today, and they asked if this is the historic part of Rockville, and it is. Cool. So this is a pretty old part of Rockville, a couple hundred years old. It used to be a bunch of farms. Obviously, you guys noticed when you came in, it's not farms now. But most of the houses are, easily 100, 150 years old around here. This one looks like it's that old, but it's not. But it is. This house is from the 40s, and this is considered the middle part of the state. So it's a little more.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's not really a city per se, but we're getting a little more crowded, and it's a little more dense up here. And you guys know it because of the guitar place that you usually go to.
Chuck Levin's Washington Music
Right.
Center.
Chuck Levin's, Strathmore's around here,
Strathmore.
about 15, 20 minutes away from DC. So the other thing to note is I literally grew up on this street,
Yeah.
which is either good or bad depending on who you ask.
That's great.
I have a lot of old friends here, a lot of old enemies who won't be watching this. But yeah. So we're surrounded by more people now. That's for sure.
Yeah, we are no longer in an airplane hangar, which is somewhat bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
We're expanding. We are
Yeah.
out of Southern Maryland, and we are into a different area of Maryland, closer to DC, like you said. So it's exciting. We have some interesting opportunities on the horizon.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
we're not sure what direction it's going to go in. I mean, certainly we'll be keeping the same creativity and innovation and all that.
I
And
highly
positivity.
welcome. I was going to say that I highly welcome the nature of what you guys do, which is just staying positive and also staying. I think the word I use is eclectic.
Right.
Just because I live here doesn't mean people can't talk about weird things. So please feel free to go on any tangent you'd like, and actually maybe even tangents you weren't able to go on before. I don't know if you stayed out of bounds with certain things. I don't know. But we're kind of in a place now where you might have a little more freedom.
Right on. We may have stayed inside of a couple of bounds there.
Probably.
We were in a collegiate, county and military facility, so we may be able to dig a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm a big weirdo, so whatever you guys want to talk about, TomBro Studios is here for you.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully, this maybe will push us into something. But I have a tangent that I am able to go on that I wasn't able to go on before.
Oh God. Okay.
I am now bionic. If there anybody that's watching that maybe has noticed that I don't have glasses on right now.
Right.
Interesting.
I got my eyeballs lasered last week. It was
Congratulations.
awesome. It was crazy. They just
Yep.
you're there. You smell it. You smell them burning your eye up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It only takes like 10, 15 minutes, and then you're gone, and you have.
Yeah.
Could you feel it?
Yes. Well, I couldn't feel them lasering the actual eyeball, but when you, so they asked me if they were like, do you want any Valium or anything? And I was like, they were like, you seem really calm. And I was like, yeah, unless you think I need it, and I don't need it. And they were like, okay, so just go in there, and they numb your eyes with these drops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you get these drops, and they numb you up, but you're completely, like, you can feel the pressure and everything. They take this thing, and it goes all the way around your eye.
Oh my God.
And it holds your eyelids open, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel it go in and around your eye. And then they take this other thing, and I'm just guessing because I couldn't see. They take this other thing, and it feels like it goes around the thing that they put in your eye, like almost like a tube. And then, you have all these lights in your face, and they're like, no pain allowed, and we're going to start. And I'm like, all right.
That sounds terrible to me.
It was pretty crazy, but, I mean...
My wife, Jere, had it done a couple months ago, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And she was just completely blown away by the improvement of the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude...
And I mean,
yeah.
you no longer have glasses. I mean, that's
Do you actually
tremendous.
see colors differently now?
See colors differently? No, everything looks the same, but better definition.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so like even at night, I feel like I can look out. So I have a very active imagination.
Really?
And
No way.
It freaks me out sometimes, and I got to the point with my vision where I couldn't see well enough at night to discern sort of what was going on with the objects that I was seeing, and I mean whether or not I was actually even seeing them. So
interesting.
You go through this phase where you're like, all right, well, is that a thing up there? And if it is a thing, what is it? And then the what is it can freak you out, But now it's almost like I feel like at a closer or further range or whatever it is, I can discern that it is actually something.
Clear.
Or it isn't anything, and that it's crazy.
So you said tangent, but I don't think this is a tangent. It's in line with where you were going, but I technically am bionic as well.
Yeah.
I think I told you guys about how I have an artificial elbow.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, you probably don't remember. I told Dominic, he wasn't paying attention, that I have an artificial elbow. It's part cadaver, part polymer, and it's a repaired elbow, and so technically speaking, I'm bionic as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Doesn't it feel good to say that in a way?
Well,
Bionic.
so here's the thing that always comes up. Like, I guess it doesn't always come up, but I've heard it a lot. So Musk he has a company that most people don't talk about. It's called Neuralink.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you're gonna stick basically a computer into your spine, and people who can't walk can walk again, and people who can't use their hands can use their hands again. In theory, it could be like the Matrix, where you could download knowledge. In theory. All right. So a lot of people are freaked out by this. Mm-hmm. Freaked out. Now, the problem that I have with being freaked out about it is you just did something to your eyes to give yourself HD vision. 200 years ago, someone might have said, oh, that's creepy. or that's like voodoo or something.
Right.
My elbow, like I could barely lift my arm, and then they go in and they patch me up, and all of a sudden I'm good.
Yeah.
If I was in a wheelchair and someone said, "Hey, put something in the back of your head," and all of a sudden
Right.
you can walk again,
Be cool. Yeah,
I don't
man.
think those people are complaining.
Yeah.
But it gets into this weird space where I don't know. I mean, is that where we're going, and is that where we're supposed to be going?
Or is that where we've been?
Or that's
I mean, if they're repairing your eyes, or giving you a manufactured lens, or a manufactured elbow,
yeah.
I mean, what's that say about us in general?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Or like organ transplants.
Yeah.
In the
Heart
old days,
transplant.
heart transplants. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how far in for you guys? Not like, I mean, yes, of course,
Yeah.
it's always fun to have a general conversation, but we're
Right.
the only people sitting here. So, in your mind, is there a line?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of downloading knowledge.
Yeah.
That part creeps me out. I think making it so people can walk again, use their limbs again, sight.
Is that
The knowledge thing
same?
weird.
Is that the same as downloading knowledge though? Like saying, okay, well, I mean, does it? Is it if it is just like your elbow, right, where they put something in and your body is controlling it? Is that different than I just gave you kung fu and German, Italian, and Latin,
So
Through a computer.
yeah,
or whatever, you know?
but like, here's the problem. The biggest problem that I have with it is pretty simple. Yeah, Musk will allow people to walk again, and that'll be the positive side of it. And all of a sudden, you know, that's what he'll be remembered as. One, all the space stuff and all these other crazy things. Everyone's gonna be whatever. If he can literally make people walk again, he'll go down in history for that. The problem I have is that I know for a fact that it'll turn into a software service where, depending on how much money you have, you can pay to be smarter.
Right.
And if you already have money, you're gonna pay for the premium knowledge package to
and
make
the extension of your lifetime.
yes, and you're gonna pay to make yourself one of the smartest 0.1% of people in the world. All of a sudden, if we think we have a gap now between rich people and poor people, that is going to make it so much worse.
I agree, but I would also ask, what's the difference between paying to be the smartest and therefore probably end up with an earning situation that's higher and all that stuff? Where's the line between the download of the information and the paying of room and board and tuition to go to school?
It's funny because as you were saying that, I was literally thinking of that. I was thinking about a future where people hand their resumes in,
Yeah.
and then on their resume it says, "I have this knowledge package downloaded."
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but
Yes.
but what's the difference between
That's
that
it. I have
and
this degree.
saying I have the Harvard package,
Yeah.
versus
Right.
I have the University of Delaware package, which I have. But you understand the difference.
Yes.
Is that someone will look and go, "Oh, Harvard's worth more."
Right.
And don't they do that now?
They do that now.
Oh,
You're right.
yes.
So I don't know if there's a difference.
Well, I mean, if there isn't a difference, where is the line? Because you know what I mean. Like, just not that we could even draw it, but it's hard because it gets so blurry. It's like, what's the difference between? Yes, there's a difference, I guess, because we have to do the work to get the degree, even if we're paying for it.
Do we?
But where's the difference in
Sometimes.
what if you have enough knowledge that you don't need a body. And you don't need money. And you can travel.
Yeah.
And you can travel not just on this planet, but you can travel through this universe or other universes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that gets into a whole other debate, which is what's the
Right.
difference between like a soul and a brain. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
like I would ascribe to the camp of there are certain things that cannot be taught to you. Some of them have to do with like intuition or feelings and things like that. I don't know how you download feelings. Maybe I could be corrected.
Well, I imagine it would be the same process. Like you would be able to download or upload whatever. I guess it is download something. That,
You would download it.
Yeah, right.
To
You
your
would
head.
download something that facilitates a type of feeling, right? Like here's a feeling you have felt, so a feeling of nostalgia, or a feeling that is nostalgic, or here's something that you've never felt. And things that we've never felt, well, that'll probably often just fall into something initially.
Well,
that
I
just
wonder
feels
if it
scary.
could also bring you closer to what a lot of us refer to as the soul. Is the soul a reaching out into the universe, and is the universe reaching into us, which is what we feel as though is the soul?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm tracking that, and I think that perhaps if we're not spending so much time on learning things, maybe we could start to explore other types of feelings or states of being.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
I think often about if we are not spending so much time learning things that are from external reference points. Almost, this seems to me that we're almost becoming like the technology. We're like maybe not becoming, but our goal in our intelligence is more like that of the computer these days because we're getting so used to it. So we spend more time trying to cite our information and reference our information than we do looking into our soul and ourself for what we ourselves can generate and know is true. I know there's a line there too, because you can't just walk around saying whatever you want and call it truth, but there is a certain amount from within that comes out and becomes and is truth and is creative and provides progress and innovation, that if we spend all of our time just worrying about being able to recite that which we have memorized as true and good quality facts, you're not going to get to creating new things.
Have you ever seen Interstellar?
No.
All right, so you just said that sometimes you said that you can't just say whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay. So in Interstellar, I think it's like 50 years in the future or something, they've got this artificial intelligence robot that just kind of like does handiwork for them as they travel towards a black hole. Okay? Yep. Earth is very similar to it is now. Obviously, technology is further along. What was funny in that movie is that they have a gauge for the humor level that the robot is allowed to have. So what I mean is, like, you said we know when and when not to say things. If we were to only rely on a computer to think, if you asked the computer a question, it would give you an exact answer. Even
right.
and you could be in a social situation and someone could say, "Does this shirt make me look fat?" And you would be like, "No, that shirt doesn't make you look fat." And in your head, you're like, "Yeah, he looks really fat in that shirt." But the computer would just say, "Yeah, you look fat." So I don't know if we've gotten past the point of all this data and knowledge where it can think intuitively. And so maybe that's the limit, right?
The AI and all that, as far as I can see, has not
been
able to make it.
So
to
then
that.
if we were to like become bionic people and we were able to download all this information, it's still not going to teach us social cues.
Well, it still may not teach us not only those social nicety things, but it may not teach us how to continue on and progress
True.
and assimilate into a new situation. It's
To
creativity.
assimilate positivity in all of mankind, not just in the top 1%.
That's true, because the computer would look at everything and go, the Earth is way overpopulated. And it would go, we need to cut down this number. And you would just wipe out part of it. It would almost
you
be
could tell
like,
it who was worth keeping around, too. Oh, if you fit this criteria.
well, it would be like the Avengers when Thanos just snaps, and then like 50% of all mankind just disappears. And he's like, well, I did it because that was the most logical thing to do. And everyone's like, well, just because it was logical doesn't mean you should have done it.
Right.
So maybe that's the limit.
What is the limit?
The limit is, okay, Jesus. The limit is, just because you can recite and regurgitate information doesn't make you smarter. And the computer can only take you as far as knowing facts. It can't give you these like underlying cultural, even understanding, like when you wave with your right hand in one country it's good, and when you wave with your right hand in another country it's bad. Mm-hmm. I just don't think a computer can get to that point yet. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we could just cut it off there.
Just not allow it to go there.
I mean, people have been trying. People have been trying to get all these politicians to start actually taking artificial intelligence seriously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we talk about him a lot, but Musk says he's given up on trying to convince people that the evolution of AI in the direction that it's been going is extremely dangerous.
Dude, he has a monkey that plays Pong with its brain. Okay, so Neuralink is not like this like pie in the sky thing. They've already got it. They've already got it in monkeys. They're using their brain to play video games.
Well, let me ask you this: it's here. Download whatever you want from being a chef. You know, like a top chef. For some reason, I can't think of the word that I want to use for that.
Master chef?
Sure, master chef, master martial artist, master engineer, whatever. You can download it. Are you going to do it?
You know, I wish I could sit in like an ivory tower and say no, but if someone handed it to me and said you could pick some industry or whatever and you could be the smartest person ever, I'd probably take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I might regret my decision. I probably would immediately regret my decision because I don't think we're capable of knowing that much, but I think I would.
Yeah. What would you do? What would you download?
Oh God, I knew you were gonna ask me that. I don't know. Like probably something super strange. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you think on that. What about you? Would you do it?
I think I'd probably do it.
Yeah?
Yeah. And hope that the outcome leaves me as positive.
Yeah?
Because the computer is the computer, but it's also, most of its knowledge has been given to it by man.
True.
So
that's true.
That doesn't necessarily define love and hate. And I wouldn't want to download and then also go on a negative path.
Yeah.
I would want to help everyone in mankind. And I think that is something that really needs to be thought about and brought forward at this time. Because there's a whole lot of things going on the planet that are not positive. Everything is still based in war.
Yeah.
All the way back to the beginning of time, we're still basing everything in war and military power, whereas, you know, that's really not the most positive thing on the planet. But it's still being done. And very few people talk about it.
Yeah. Again, I mean, to his point, I would hope that after I made the decision, it didn't turn me into some sort of creepy, robotic type of person.
Would you be deterred at all by the susceptibility to manipulation? You know, if you've got a damn link in the back of your head, can't they track you, trace you, do it? You know, upload what they want to upload to you.
So that you know what's ironic about that is we call a virus in a computer a virus because of the same reason why a virus infects us.
Right.
It affects a computer. It's almost like viruses would go full circle. You would just be downloading a virus, which would be affecting your body.
Right. I wasn't even thinking about things like that either.
Why?
Well, I mean, no, I wasn't. Not that I wouldn't. Now, yes, I would think about them, but I mean, I was thinking more like, you know, just being controlled, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe it isn't the best idea, because that seems like the next thing for people to do is say, okay, I hijacked your stem, your spleen.
Dude, and you know they have now. This doesn't even have anything to do with Neuralink. They have personalized bio, like they can make something that will only affect your DNA. So, like for instance,
could assassinate people real easy.
Imagine that you were at a big event. It was well known that there was going to be this giant event that the president was going to be at or whatever, right? And somehow or another they started to it's cold and flu season and somebody's got a something, but that something came from a bioengineered thing that it's only sniffles and coughs for everybody who gets it except for the one person who has the DNA who it kills, and it looks like natural causes. They can do stuff like that.
They just did.
Well, I know people. Segue. I know people that. This is true, by the way. I know people that will not throw out bio trash, like because once you put something in your trash, it's like
can collect DNA from.
It's admissible evidence, and the cops, the FBI, are if you put something in your garbage and put it on the curb, they can take whatever they want. Oof. And so if you, I'm showing this gum, and I walked out to my trash can, tossed it in.
Right.
Anyone's allowed to come. Law enforcement allowed to come take my gum and be like, "Swipe, we're gonna give him coronavirus."
Did you know that the president of the USA has his security detail carries around bags to dispose of, like if he goes to a restaurant, anything, glass that he drinks from, silverware that they use, bed sheets, anything like that, they dispose of it because they can have somebody come along and map their DNA and do that thing where they make personalized bio-warfare on there.
Yeah, the president also gives blood like every other day because they store the president's blood in all different places all around the U.S.
Wow.
Well, it's because if anything bad happens, they want to make sure that the blood is there.
Well, in the same token as these things that we're talking about, though, that we're looking at in a negative way, can be very positive. If they can map your DNA and something happens to you, they can reconstruct you into a healthy condition.
But we just went we just went full circle.
I know.
Right.
Where's the line? I mean, this is not any original question to us here. This is something that people talk about often, but.
I don't know, man. I would probably, the fun side of me would probably download, back to the question at hand, I would download like every sporting event to ever take place. And then I could statistically predict, I'd probably, just the fun crazy part of me. And I would just start betting on like basketball games and stuff like that.
There you go.
There's no reason for me doing that. The humble side and the part of me that wants to help people would probably download like all medical history ever known to man. Mm-hmm. And then just go and, I don't know, cure cancer or something like that.
I think I would try to abstain and refrain from doing it as long as I could. Because in a situation like that, to download the entire history of something is to, in my mind, be wrapped up in that history in such a way where it opens and shows you, illuminates the possibilities of what has been done.
True.
But it doesn't necessarily illuminate the possibilities of what hasn't been done. I mean, it can because it shows you what hasn't been done, but if all you're interested in is knowing what it has, because it informs how you should go forward, because knowing history helps you avoid repeating the mistakes or whatever, but knowing history, I think we need to focus on creating history. In order to do something new, we need to create that newness. And if we're always stuck in what we know, we're probably going to try to repeat what we know. Yes, we might try to build on it, but then we're only extending the pattern which we have identified and are moving in. And sometimes you need to identify a new pattern and move in another direction. And I fear for myself and my own thinking sometimes that getting so wrapped up in all the facts and the history and the details and everything puts you in tunnel vision to the pattern.
That's you. I think you've converted me back. That explanation means I do not want to download things anymore.
But that being said, I would have loved to never use a debit card. But then you're phased out. You can't, how is it going to get to a point where if you're not neural linked and you can't upload the information, well, the teller can't help you and you can't buy groceries and stuff. You know what I mean?
And you can't eat.
God, I hope not.
I mean, that to me is probably a marketing campaign or a lobbyist, right? If there's a business that wants it everybody should have these things, there's going to be a push that you're not going to be able to participate in regular society if you don't have them, just like a debit card.
Yeah.
There's places where you can't use cash anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You can't pay cash. You can't drive you might be able to go on the Jersey Turnpike, but they're going to charge you like crazy. But, maybe you can't get on the Jersey Turnpike anymore or go over the George Washington Bridge or the 895 tunnel because there's no more people there accepting money.
Yeah, I just drove over the Bay Bridge in Maryland, and they don't have toll booths anymore.
Yeah, and maybe the traffic's moving faster.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
All right, so it's not even more convenient.
No.
But we've all been tunneled. We're more and more tunneled into using the technology,
Yeah.
So it's sort of difficult to remain not using it. So that's why I say I would try as long as I could to not do it, I think. Maybe I'm full of crap. Maybe I would get so excited and be like, make me great at everything.
Maybe we're all full of crap.
There you go.
Indeed. And
all of us.
we're going to remain full of crap right here in TomBro Studios.
TomBro.
Yeah.
TomBro.
This is exciting. And just so you know, I mean, not that anybody whether or not you were wondering, we're all mobile. We can up production and bring it to somewhere else. So if there's a good place to be, let us know.
They're already trying to leave.
No.
Nope.
This is home base.
I'm teasing.
You're coming with
But
us.
the other places probably have walls, so I will give them that.
I'm not worried about walls.
Yeah.
Man. Where we're going, we don't need no walls. What isn't that something?
Yeah. No, no, roads.
Roads.
Back to the Future.
Dang it. All right. So I don't watch enough things.
That's okay.
All right, it's time to go.
Well, thank you guys for coming.
Dude, this is great. I'm excited to be here. And
thank Alexandra for running the camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, to our
And
esteemed camera
Alexandra's
lady.
mom for being here.
Julie as well.
Yeah. All right, so then next week?
Next week.
Not sure what day, but we're still rolling on the same schedule. Every Monday and Friday, we release some music, Progress Culture Sessions, and every Wednesday, you'll catch the podcast, and every Thursday, the video version, the Progress Culture OnScreen. So you can find all that information on sonic-spirits.com and progressculture.org, and there's all kinds of stuff that, go dig it. Have a good time. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you all so much for being with us. We appreciate you sharing your time and consideration. Please feel free to reach out to Sonic Spirits and Progress Culture at sonic-spirits.com and progressculture.org. We'd love to hear from you if you're working on something awesome, or you have ideas for future shows, or you'd just like to say hello. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Much love, and see you soon.